So for those of you that are here for the first time, I'm Reverend Karyl Huntley, and I've been off for like 6-7 weeks getting a new hip, which, you know, you can all pat it and bless it, but it works great, and I feel wonderful, so that's why the cheering, and it's good to see you again, too. So if you're here for the first time, we have some people from our membership team with a little piece of information, a little packet, big packet. And in there is a little blue card. If you fill that out and give it back to one of these wonderful women, you get a free book that describes our philosophy, which is the science of mind. So is there anyone here that's here for the first time that would like one of these little packets? All right, it's family time. Happy you're all here. Happy to see people that I haven't seen for a long time. So here we are with our theme for the whole year, which is living our values and following values with action. You know, we can say, I want to live a loving life, but if we don't actually do something towards that end, you know, what is it? Realization without actualization is entertainment. Yeah, that's it. So we have a little commitment form for you right here on your bulletin where you get to say what value you are living for the week, and I'd love to hear about that. So we are starting September, and we have a new theme for September, which is community service. So what we're doing is we're paying attention to us. And then by extension, we also grow ourselves. And this is a big week for the big us, right? With the hurricane and with flooding globally, and Louise Hay stepping into eternity, and all kinds of big things. So the values that I am going to talk about today that you can grab a hold of if you want are these. First of all, it's gratitude, and I'm feeling very grateful. And then generosity, because generosity is important in serving community. And then service is important in serving community. So these three values, gratitude, generosity, and service, are good for each one of us on an individual level. And they are essential for groups living together well. It just doesn't work if most people in those communities lack one of these things. So before I launch into my topic for today, I want to spend just a moment in saying thank you to all of you for holding the community while I was gone. So I want to tell you that I was ready to stagger back the first week of August, and actually it was President Pat and Office Manager Ceci who said to me in the most loving way, "Stay away. Don't come back. Don't come back for take August. Just take August and really heal yourself and come back, you know, filled with energy." And I just want to say I have such gratitude for them for saying something that made me a little nervous at first. Don't come back. But they said this so lovingly, with so much support, that after a bit, I mean, it did take a while. Ceci had to remind me like several times, stop it, get your mitts off of that, don't call me, don't call them. And so I want to thank them, and I want to thank the service teams and the speakers and the musicians for every single Sunday. And then I want to thank all of you for keeping the community together while I was gone. And you look just healthy and happy, and the place is full. And I have to say that you all made my life better. And so that's the talk title, is how can I make your life better? And this works perfectly in community. And I want to say that this is not about being codependent. It's not about giving with strings. And I know that correctly we don't make anybody do anything. They create their own atmosphere, their own consciousness, and therefore their own life. But I want to say that it goes trippingly off the tongue, right? How can I make your life better? So that's what my topic is today. And it fits perfectly in with Labor Day, too, because, I looked up online why it's not just barbecues, it's really it's dedicated, Labor Day is dedicated to the social and economic achievements of American workers. It constitutes a yearly national tribute to the contributions of workers have made to the strength, prosperity, and well-being of our country. So I want to do just a little experiment here that I hope it doesn't take too long. It could take all day, but I'd like all the teachers to stand up. All the teachers. Okay. So now I want all of you to think about if your life has been made better because of a teacher. And any teacher. Can we say, yeah. So let's thank these teachers. And you can sit down. And so now I'd like all the medical and physical therapy and work with your body kind of people to stand up. Thank you. And has anybody had their life made better because of physical work on their body? Thank you. Thank you. So I'd like the salespeople to stand up. The salespeople, yeah. And I want you to think, have you ever had your life made better because there was an honest salesperson that put you together with something you needed for the right amount of money? Thank you. Artists, all the artists, stand up. Anybody's life made better because of the artists? Absolutely. Thank you, artists. Office workers, the glue that keeps America together. Office workers, anybody's life made better? Absolutely. Authors, stand up. I know we have authors. Yep. Thank you, authors. Thank you. Technology types. Oh my God. Thank you. Spiritual workers. Life made better. Yeah. Do we have any farmers? Farmer, there, thank you. So, Laurel is also the goddess of the altar today. And so she has all of these wonderful symbols that mean work. There's farming, there's doctoring, and the hands that do the work. And so, forgive me if I missed professions, but the point is, we all entered a profession for some reason. We thought we could express ourselves, or our parents wanted us to go into that profession, or we thought we could make money and take care of ourselves and our families because we entered a profession. And probably a version of all of that happened. And in addition, we made other people's life better because of our work. That is an amazing thing to think about, the economy of God. And I like that. I use that saying. The economy of God is when a single situation creates great good for many that was really actually unintentional. But God uses one situation to make great good for many people. And so the good is multiplied by this divine system called society. Who'd have thunk it? There's a lot of strife in the world right now, and there's a lot of good in the world right now because people stepped into professions and worked hard. And I want to thank each and every one of you that stepped into a profession, or more than one, and worked hard and made other people's lives better. We kind of did it and didn't even think about it, right? It just happened. I mean, you served all these people that you don't even know. And what would happen if we did that consciously? If we woke up every morning and said, this profession that I'm in, I'm going to use it as a sacred ministry to help every single one that I can. And that is our morning prayer. Infinite presence within me, use me well today so that I may allow other people's lives to improve. That would make it even better for us, right? So I like that idea. I'm going to do that for a while and see what happens. And those of you that are retired, that's even better because you have so much more time to be generous in service. You can make people's lives better at Starbucks. You can make people's lives better on your walk, right? Okay, so let's get into the teaching slides now, and that is why serve others. I'm going to read this quote from Gandhi because maybe you can't read it in the back. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. That's what Gandhi says. So why serve others? First of all, because it increases happiness. There's a Chinese saying that goes, if you want happiness for an hour, take a nap. If you want happiness for a day, go fishing. If you want happiness for a year, inherit a fortune. If you want happiness for a lifetime, help somebody. And then St. Francis of Assisi, you know this one, for it is in giving that we receive. Leo Tolstoy, the sole meaning of life is to serve humanity. And Winston Churchill said, we make a living by what we get, we make a life by what we give. So it takes sort of a leap of consciousness to do this if we have gotten into a habit of thinking about ourselves only and what's in it for me and how can I get my needs met today. And there's nothing wrong with getting your needs met, but there is a sort of impoverished state of mind when you only think about yourself. And if you don't think that anybody else is going to think about you, then you think, well, I have to take care of myself first. And so it takes really a leap of consciousness to say, well, maybe my life could be better if I focused on the energy going out rather than trying to manage the energy coming in. What if I just tried that for a while? Research shows it provides compelling data to support the anecdotal evidence, that's the storytelling individual experience evidence, that giving is a powerful pathway to personal growth and lasting happiness. Through MRI technology, we now know that giving activates the same parts of the brain that are stimulated by food and sex, and we all know how much we like those things. Well, that wasn't in here, but... experiments show evidence that altruism is hardwired in the brain and it's pleasurable. So I want us to just live into that experience, try it on for a while. Why serve others? Also, it decreases competition and separation. You see, we're really all on the same side. We're all in partnership. We have to be in order to make it, make the world livable for everybody. And although there's a lot of chatter about it being us and them and so forth, we know that's not the case. We know that cooperation is essential. We know that serving one another is essential. And then finally, serving others supports our oneness. So this is the beginning spiritual point of all of our work. This is the place where Janet began when she said her prayer. And that is the oneness of all of life. That there is one life, that life is God's life, that life is perfect, and that life is my life now, and that life is your life now, and there's no separation among us. And so generosity is the expression of this oneness. So that's why it's important to serve others. So next, however, is why are we stingy sometimes? And I love this slide because it's just a vast, empty, non-pretty blankness Why are we stingy? So I want to tell you that I wanted to make sure that I was spelling stingy right. So I did that spelling thing that you do on spell check on your computer. And so it brought up in the dictionary the synonyms for stingy, and these are horrible. Miserly, sparing, grudging, mean, tight-fisted, penny pinching, ungenerous. Those sound worse to me than stingy, right? And sometimes we hold back, don't we? And we hold back for a couple of reasons, I believe. And the first one is we're afraid there is not enough. If we were raised with a consciousness that there is not enough to go around and you better eat your mashed potatoes really, really fast because there's not going to be seconds and you have to get, your part of it or you're going to go hungry before breakfast, then that's a powerful lesson that gets internalized that is a lie. It is a lie because there seems to be enough. There's a lot of research that shows this too, that there's enough food on the planet to feed everybody. There's enough dollars in the banks to make everybody rich. And so the difference must be our consciousness, what we look for in the world, what we expect from life. And if we expect there to be not enough, what are we going to get? Oh, see, you're very good students. This is right. We're not going to have enough. But if we look for sufficiency, if we look for blessings, if we are grateful for what we have and we look for additional blessings, what do we get? We get more blessings. We get that sufficiency. Now, if this sounds ridiculous to you, if this sounds Pollyanna, if this sounds like you don't know my situation, what I would love for you to do is go to one of these practitioners at the end of service and get a prayer from them, because there is a way that they know how to shift consciousness if you are willing. If you simply say inside, I am willing to follow this line of thinking, that is the first step. But there's one more reason why we're stingy, that we're afraid that there's not enough, and that is that we are afraid that we aren't enough, that we aren't deserving, that we aren't good enough. And that is the classic belief in lack, which is also a lie. You were made perfectly. You are an unrepeatable miracle. The life in you is the same life that is in the life of God. That is it. Louise Hay, that made her transition this week, this comes from Louise. Somewhere, someone is looking for exactly what you have to offer. Exactly. There is this match of need in the world and someone to fulfill it. That is what sufficiency is. And you wouldn't be here unless you were an unrepeatable miracle with gifts to give. That's just the way it is. So these two things right here, as emphatically as they live in some people, if they live in you, stop it. Just stop it. So the way we stop it is that these beliefs are now, they're spoken. I spoke them. Some people don't believe there is enough. Some people don't believe that they're enough. Those are lies. When you get that little inkling of, oh, it's not going to work, say, stop it. Just put that big red circle with a slash through it and go be grateful for something. That's it. If you never come to another service, and if you did that, if you short-circuited that loop that your mind gets into and just said, stop it, and then be grateful for something, your life would change. Absolutely. So the last slide here is celebrate the gifts to be given through you. And the first is give to your heart's content. When you start feeling how great it is to give, let yourself go. So right here, I want to put in a plug for giving to hurricane relief. And I know that some of us are concerned about what organizations to give to or not. We have a friend, this community has a friend in Houston who is the assistant minister at the big Unity Church there. His name is Michael Gott. And he has spoken here, he has sung here, we sing his songs. There Is Only Love is one of his songs. I just wrote a check to Unity of Houston, and it's right here. I put hurricane relief. He was on Facebook saying, we want to raise $100,000 for our people that have lost their homes. And so Michael Gott is our friend. It's right up here. If you feel so inclined, I know that the money would be put to good use. So if your heart wants to give in that way, please consider giving here. I just messaged Michael and said, I'm pretty sure you're probably still collecting money. I'm going to share this with my community. So next is know there is always more. The next breath, the next sunrise, the next hug. That it is the nature of God's expression to always be more, always to be available, always to germinate the seed, always to make more life, always to express more. And so that is the nature of life. You can't outgive God. And then finally is remember the golden rule. Now the golden rule in Christianity, you know, is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And it's not do unto others so they'll do unto you the way you want. It's that feeling of generating generosity within you because that's the way you want to be treated. And so if you treat others the way you want to be treated, there is this environment around you that is generous because you have generated it. You have generated generosity. And so you act through generosity, and it's really a miracle healing. It's amazing. Just a couple of things. Do unto all men as you would wish to have done unto you. That's from Islam. Hurt not others with that which pains yourself. That's Buddhism. This is the sum of all true righteousness. Treat others as thou wouldst thyself be treated. That's Hinduism. And basically every single religion has this. And it works because we generate a frequency. This is what Bob talked about. And I'm going to ask our speakers to come up here in just a minute because this is the marriage of spirituality and science. And I don't know anybody better than this guy. So this says everything is energy and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy, this is physics. Yeah, and so the way that works is we generate a frequency, and if we have generated the frequency of generosity, there's a field that we live in and move through before we get to anything else out there. And that is the magic of frequency. So we didn't rehearse this, you two, but I would like to call up Deidre Hade and William Arntz. William Arntz is the physicist, Deidre is the mystic. They are our presenters in the afternoon. You have 3-4 minutes to talk about what we're going to be experiencing this afternoon. Would you come up, please? Welcome.
Wow. You're lucky. She's amazing. And you're amazing. What a beautiful house of spirit. So I'm Deirdre, and I'm a mystic, and I'm literally married to a physicist.
Yeah, I'm obviously not the mystic. I'm obviously their physicist, talking about the science with the mystic.
So So we came upon this concept of surprise, that we live in the age of surprise, and that the conversation between mysticism and science needs to be readdressed, needs to be looked at again. And so today we're going to do a little workshop about that. I was born a mystic. I just came out this way. And my parents were scientists, so trust me, they were surprised. And the message I'm getting today, I woke up with the archangels, and so the archangels said they really want to speak to you today and share with you from their perspective what tools we need to survive, thrive, and create the golden age as we pass through the age of surprise. So that's what the mystic's going to talk about.
And what I'm going to talk about, I'm actually the comic relief. She's the one who says all the profound things, and I sort of do the science thing. But one of my things, I really was a laser physicist, and my thing these days is keeping science honest and telling science that when they look at someone like Deirdre or like all of us, it's like, no, we're not these spacey, flaky people. We think about things, we examine things, and science needs to do that too and stop ignoring the stuff that doesn't fit into their little worldview. So we're going to get into that too, and the Tao of surprise, because in the end, all discovery is always a surprise.
Yes, I can't wait. Be careful, love. Okay, thank you. All right, so that starts at noon. Okay, perfect. So the reprise of our values, gratitude, generosity, and service. I charge you all with living through those wonderful values. And now, if you would, we just have a little moment inside to anchor the lesson of today. And as we do that, we realize that just like me, everyone wants to be served and encouraged. Just like me, everyone wants their gifts to be received. Just like me, everyone wants to feel useful in the world. And so it is that I claim today that we weave ourselves together in beautiful community. We weave ourselves together in generosity, where that cycle of offering and accepting and giving and receiving and gratitude for all that is available cycles and increases and dances, and we all end up feeling that we live one great and useful day after another, and that there is no energy wasted and there are no gifts unreceived. This is the economy of God, and we are living it. So be it now and forevermore. Amen.
Bye.